One world currency.
The New World Order.
Those are the roots of trouble.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. But I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
And now, welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. Here's your host from federaljack.com. It's Popeye.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another live edition of the Down the Rabbit Hole radio program. It is Wednesday, June 13th. Ooh, Wednesday the 13th. Ooh. And tonight I'm joined by my two good friends, Joe Joseph and Ken Hildebrand.
Yes, we seek to take over the network.
Yes.
And by cracky, we're going to do so.
And just in case my listeners weren't...
Justin?
No,
Justin.
Not just in case.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
just in case my listeners aren't aware, I want to give a big thank you to Joe and Ken for helping me. They put together a thing that Joe lovingly named Federal Jack Palooza yesterday at the last minute because Master Chief, my computer, died. Yes, I named my computer Master Chief. And it died. So Joe organized a somewhat of a fundraiser for people to donate over at Federal Jack and help out. And I want to thank everybody that did and anybody that continues to donate. I appreciate that. I keep getting emails, people asking me where on the site the donation button is. It's right on the front, right at the very top, on the right-hand side, right below the radio show banner. You can't miss it. It's right there. But that's not why... that's not why I come on air. It's not why I do this. I'm not doing it for money or anything like that. But the donations right now do help because we are running on a wing and a prayer right now, with some duct tape and some zip ties and a few things rigged together. But we're here, and that's all that matters. Right, boys?
Why, yes, of course.
And I want to give a big shout-out, like Joe did last night, to Tim Watts, the voice of Orion here. Timmy's not doing too good. And he needs,
bad shape.
Yeah, he really needs your love and your prayers and your positive energy sent his way, ladies and gentlemen. Timmy is in pretty bad shape, and hopefully he'll be back on his feet soon. But he needs love and positive vibes. So all you hippies out there, send Timmy some love and some positive vibes. Anybody that prays, whatever. Give him some love because he's really in a bad way, and it's not a joke. It's not a publicity stunt or anything like that. Tim is really sick. We'll put it that way. And he can get better. It's not like he's got, but he can get better. So give out the positive vibes, and let's everybody pull form All right, boys. Now that we've gotten all the, I guess, pleasantries out of the way, Joe, you wrecked my night by giving me that article about Bloomberg, just so you know.
What a douchebag, man.
He is a total douchebag.
I mean, who the hell thinks they can do that?
Not only does he want to ban 16-ounce drinks, but now they want to ban milk/coffee drinks, meaning, Starbucks coffees and stuff like that, and popcorn.
Ugh. I mean, really, dude, are you serious?
Epic douchebaggery, dude.
Mayor Bloomberg says the drink rules are an attempt to fight obesity in the city. It would limit food service establishments in the city from serving drinks bigger than 16 ounces, but would allow refills. What the hell good is that? It'll allow refills.
So they just go back for more refills, dickhead.
Yeah, so, oh my God.
Now that is a typical bureaucrat at work.
Oh, yeah. Huge. But even so, I mean, who are they to say what you can and can't consume? You know what I mean? That's just ridiculous. Milk, popcorn, really? Well, last time
did you see the comment from the New York City Board of Health? The little board, the hand-picked board that Bloomberg has going after these things?
No, but give it to me.
Okay. One member, Bruce Vladek, thinks limiting the sizes for movie theater popcorn should be considered. Quote, the popcorn isn't a whole lot better than the soda. Quote.
Yes.
This is what your public officials in New York are wasting your money dealing with. This is what they're wasting your tax dollars dealing with. Let's not deal with, homelessness, feeding the hungry, the economy.
Nah, forget that.
Maybe taking fluoride out of the water.
They have your best interests at heart. They truly do. This is why they
milkshakes.
That's why they elect you guys, all you people up in New York that elected this scumbag back into office. I hope you're happy. I really do.
Yeah, I don't get how he got voted. I mean, that had to be vote fraud because I don't understand how people voted that idiot back in.
He wasn't even supposed to get a third term. No. He changed the rules.
I mean, he bitched, by the way. He whined when they extended Giuliani's reign like 3 months after 9/11 because he was still cleaning up. So they extended Giuliani's reign as mayor for an extra 90 days. Bloomberg got all bent out of shape over that. You can't do that. There's term limits for a reason, blah, 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 blah. And then when he's in, he volleys to get them removed and successfully does.
Well, we got a great idea here. How about we ban kosher foods? And we'll see how Bloomberg does like that. Yeah, ban the kosher foods, you freaking idiot. Let's see how you like that,
Michael.
Yeah.
Ken, what say you? What do you think of Bloomberg?
I think Justin Bieber is his illegitimate child.
Well, yeah, you know what? It ain't far from the truth, is it?
Him and either Napolitano or Hillary.
Ugh.
Yeah. This is what you try to tell people constantly. They're taking away everything. What are they going to take away next? Water? We got to tax water. You drink too much water, you might drown.
Don't laugh. That's probably good. That's probably on his agenda next.
But only in New York, so the New Yorkers can die of thirst.
It kills me, dude. The people in New York, like, do you people not pay attention? Do you?
No, of course they don't.
Do you
know what, dude?
So
apparently they're used to having people think for them. That's really what it is.
I don't know. It's all crazy.
I don't dig it at all. And to be quite honest with you, see, they set a precedent when they allowed this soft drink thing.
Yeah, see, this thing opens the door for bigger problems.
And now you've got it. Now they're saying milk and popcorn. What's next? You're going to restrict the air that people breathe? I mean, seriously. And in New York, it's not that healthy.
Why not? You can't collect rainwater. That belongs to them, too.
That's right.
Yep.
I mean, really?
They'll come.
You know what I mean?
They'll really come after you for that, bro. For real. I've seen people getting prosecuted, like stories of people getting prosecuted for rainwater collection, and you're like, Are you kidding? Like, I have a message to the bureaucrat douchebag that would actually carry out the order of going out and ticketing this guy. How do you look at yourself in the mirror when you wake up in the morning? Are you proud of yourself? Because you're a douchebag.
If they prosecute me for collecting rainwater because it belongs to them, I'm going to sue their ass the next time it snows. I want their water off my property.
Good.
You know, you get your ass over here and shovel out that damn driveway and get all of that crap off of my property. And I want it off my lawn, off the top of my house, off my deck. Get it all the hell off of my property because you own it, you scumbag. And if you think that I'm not going to put up with that I'm going to sit back and put up with this stuff, let me tell you something.
Hold on, Ken. We're going to break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thanks to Jimmy X for deciding to run whatever bumper music he likes to run at his whim.
I was going to say, what was that?
That's what happens when you have the phantom of the radio network lurking behind the scenes. You just never know what little goodies you're going to get. And that's what happens here at Orion Talk Radio, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he says that was Teenage Prostitute by Zappa.
Teenage Prostitute by Zappa.
Okay, so on the archive, please make sure you take that out. As I'm sure YouTube will flag the snot out of it.
Oh, don't worry. That'll be cut right out. I have to. You know, honestly, I'm glad you brought up YouTube censorship. That's something I'd like to discuss really quick.
Hooray.
It's gotten so out of hand, dude, that literally people with... If you shoot a video on your cell phone and somebody drives by in the car, you know, within audio recording distance, we'll say, like not listening distance to your ear, but recording distance for the microphone, which could be even longer than your ear, depending on how well you hear. And you put it up on the internet or on YouTube, rather.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll take it down. And I've seen people get copyright strikes for a video of like their dog running around and there's music in the background because someone's driving by in a car.
Surprised I haven't copyright strike people's comments yet. I'm sure.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for they use the word like I don't know. They'll say the word Intel or something, and you'd get like the Intel Corporation after something.
We own that word. Do not use that word.
It's how insane is this world becoming, dude? It's gonna become to the point where you're gonna have a conversation with somebody, and there's gonna be like a copyright detector that's attached to your shoulder or something, and you say the word Microsoft, Dell, or whatever, and it beep, 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 beep. You owe that company 5 cents. They're going to charge.
Copyright the dictionary, then it's all mine. No!
That's pretty much what's happening. They're going to copyright the friggin' dictionary, and the next thing you know, you're not going to be able to say anything without having to pay 5 cents or 10 cents per word to some corporation.
Sure, it's coming. Just a matter of time.
Talk about a way to stifle speech.
Yeah, well, they stifle what you can eat.
Well,
why not stifle what you can say?
I don't know why in the heck they haven't done that already. I mean, for crying out loud, doesn't Webster own the dictionary, which in that case means that all the music, everything out there is no good. You'll just get a 10-minute video of dead air.
Do that too, or we can actually learn how to communicate by signal flag or telepathy.
I'm sure. No, that would be what's her name? Shirley Jones probably has the telepathy thing.
I'm going back to smoke signals, but of course I'll probably get labeled a terrorist. So
no, you'll get nailed by the Indians on that one.
Yeah, I'll get copyright struck.
Copyright struck by the Indian Nation or something.
The Seminole Indians of Florida will say, "I'm sorry." So
yeah,
you cannot use smoke signals as a form of communication. We've been using it for hundreds of years. I'm like, okay, thanks, great. Now what do I do? I mean, for real, they're going to copyright air. Where did you breathe that piece of air from? I don't know, outside? But where? Were you standing on my front lawn? That's copywritten air.
As long as they get their copywritten white water off my damn property, I don't care.
You should, Ken, you know what you should do? You should charge rent for it. You should charge storage per square inch.
I wonder if I could copyright water.
I'm sure they've tried.
Or maybe, what's the other one? Instead of copywriting it, patent. I could patent water that flows from the air. And then when it rains on Washington, I could tell them, well, my estimate, you got so many square miles. It rained for so long, which was so many inches. You owe me a nickel per drop. Tell Obama, man, you got to come up with about $80 billion because that's my reign, asshole.
Don't worry, they'll just print it.
I don't care how they do it.
They'll just call up Geithner. Tell your buddies over at the Federal Reserve to press the print button.
Crank up the presses, man. $80 billion for rain.
Speaking of cranking up the presses, Ken, you know how much money the Greeks withdrew today because their elections are tomorrow?
Oh, you mean the Greek people?
Yeah, they withdrew $1 billion again today.
Good.
Yeah. And basically, folks, this is a pretty big deal over in Greece because
I'm going to the bank tomorrow, I think.
if the radical leftists get in, they've already said that they're not going to abide by the agreement or the austerity measures put in place. As a matter of fact, they're going to they hope to be able to stay within the euro. However, they don't believe in living within their means, so they're just going to do what they got to do and reinstitute a lot of the things that have caused so much heartache and pain. And all I could say is the house of cards is going to be coming tumbling down here soon. There's a lot of economists out there, a lot of economists that are normally very cheerful in a glum environment, that always have something positive to say, even though we know reality is all negative. That everybody's sounding the alarm. This is bad. You know, you're looking at like a trifecta of problems all coming together at one time and causing something that makes the Great Depression of the 1930s look like a walk in the park, which is interesting that they say it that way because I think we, as the people listening to this broadcast and people who pay attention to the alternative media, are more prepared to mitigate the problems associated with something like that because we haven't put our money and resources into the stupid things that these globalists want you to put them into. So when it all comes crashing down, I don't have a 401k. I don't have stocks. I don't have anything like that. You want to know what? When that all comes crashing, it's not going to affect me one bit. The only thing that's going to affect me in the long run is the inflation and the fact that, wages are still stagnant. So, I mean, but as far as like losing all your wealth, not me, because...
Well, yeah, I agree. No 401k, none of that crap.
Because you put it into tangible resources like guns and ammo. I mean, what better thing to do than to buy guns and ammo? You know what I mean? You can hunt with it. You can defend yourself with it. If you want gold or silver, you can go get it. If you need food or anything else, you can go get it. But you can do it all with brass and lead and a trusty firearm. And that is better than any sort of gold or silver. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a little bit of that either, but that shouldn't be your sole focus. And definitely on the physical side and not on the paper side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to go buy some gold certificates and some silver certificates.
Yes, you go ahead and do that.
I'm going to take whatever cash I have and invest it all in the stock market.
Good, because I have some wonderful swampland for sale for you.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Ken told me he's got a bridge over in Brooklyn that I could buy too.
No, Bloomberg took that away.
Good call. He banned the Brooklyn Bridge. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that's coming.
This whole thing with a crashing economy, let me tell you something. It's all mind over matter. I don't mind because it don't matter. I never had any money to begin with. Who the hell cares?
That's it. If you got nothing to lose, what's the problem?
I agree.
Sounds like again.
A little bumper there. You might want to turn that up a little bit, Jimmy.
The bumper Nazis on the loose.
That's Jimmy, the Phantom of the Orion Talk Radio Network. Okay, horrible impression of the Phantom of the Opera. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break. We'll be right back.
What the heck is this, Popeye? Is this the Bob Tuskin show or what?
Sublime, buddy. That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah, I know, but it's something that I'd expect to hear from Bobby.
You know what's upsetting is this guy, I mean, great voice, awesome band. You know what's really sad? He
Dead.
OD'd before he ever got popular, became popular after he OD'd, when his kid was a little baby. Very sad situation.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
sure,
sucks.
man.
But yes, Sublime, excellent band. Good tune, Jimmy. Good tune. Very good tune. I need some cheery music after dealing with Bloomberg for the first 2 segments. What a dick. Anybody listening in New York, vote that ass out, or I'm sure he can't run for a 4th term, can he?
Oh, man, never know, man. I mean, he could change the rules. He did it once. Why not do it again?
Well, hey, I mean, why not? I mean, he is Mike Bloomberg. After all, he can do whatever he wants.
Yes.
He's Super Mike Bloomberg. Ugh, I can't stand him. I just don't understand New York, man. I grew up right outside it. I don't understand the people in that city putting up with that crap. I remember back in the day when they used to bitch about Rudy Giuliani getting rid of the bums in front of the, that were, I mean, they were happy about it, but they were like, man, Giuliani's cracking down. The only good thing is he got rid of the bums that used to wash the windows in front of the tunnels. And as soon as he left, they came back. So good job, Mike Bloomberg.
Well, he likes that kind of stuff, man. That's job security for a lot of people.
Oh, for the NYPD, Joe. See, without the homeless, you wouldn't have secure arrests. Well, what do you mean by secure arrests? Well, the cops fill their quotas I used to watch the South Beach cops do it all the time. If they needed like 5 arrests for a quota and they didn't want to arrest anybody, they wouldn't want to be dicks and arrest someone for doing nothing, they would arrest one of the homeless guys because they figured, well, I'm doing him a favor. He gets a shower and he gets some fresh clothes and 3 meals. So, and the judge would always dismiss it and let them go because they're homeless. What are they going to, one guy had been arrested like 15 times in a month. What are they going to do?
What, are you going to post bail?
Yeah. Who's he going to get the money from? You can't get blood from a stone.
Well, he wouldn't want to anyway, I'm sure. Hey, look at this, man. I got 3 squares and a freaking bed. All right.
3 huts and a cat.
I ain't going anywhere, baby. I don't care if it's a bologna diet or not.
I've seen people get sent to foreign countries to get blown up for 3 hots and a cot. So, when you're hungry and you don't have a place to stay, it's amazing what you'll do. And that's the kind of sick shit that these people prey upon. That's what they do. They prey upon...
helpless.
Yeah, exactly. Come join the military. Are you homeless? Come join the military. This is exactly what they want. They want homeless teens. I see it all the time. Homeless teens welcome.
They do that for a whole array of things. I mean, look at the prescription monitoring program. Do you think that's really intended to go after people that abuse prescription drugs? No, it's not that at all. It's to go after those people that are in pain, that have legitimate problems. It accomplishes 2 things. It makes them easy targets for for prosecution and taxation by citation, that type of mentality. But it also makes it a lot harder to get the medicine that's required to keep pain down and all that kind of stuff. And consequently, you have a lot of people that commit suicide. And so your Agenda 21, that whole thing is covered, with this war on drugs and this prescription monitoring program. They do it all the time, man. You look everywhere, and the government, yes, we have your best interest at heart. Don't worry. This is what's best for you.
As I've said before, and I'm about to get graphic, so if there's anybody listening that has children in the room, you might want to escort them out for a second. I'll give you about 5 seconds to get them out.
Okay, I'm leaving.
And anybody that gets offended, you might want to turn this down for a second. But as I've said before, the 3 biggest lies: the check is in the mail, I won't come in your mouth, and I'm from your government, and I'm here to help you.
So true.
Okay? That's just the way it is, dude.
Yeah.
When the government says, look, trust us, it's for your own best interest. No, it's not. It's not. Okay? You probably know what's better for you than they do. In fact, you do know what's better for you. How does the government apply things, Joe, in a blanket policy?
Absolutely, all the time.
Do blanket policies ever work? No. Nope.
No.
Never.
No, but what I will what I will say is that I challenge you or anybody else in the audience to find out. Tell me one thing that the government succeeded in doing with all these programs that they put in with your best interest in mind.
Well, I can
which
tell you
one-
they
which one has
succeeded in
been
fleecing the
successful?
government. They succeeded in fleecing the public, but they certainly, I guess, that when you put that little caveat at the end, you ruined it when you said "in your best interests." Well,
In your
now you're
best
just going to hear crickets because I can't
Exactly.
think of anything.
How'd Social Security work out? Well, let's see. According to one of the latest CBO reports, the government would need an infusion right now of $4.4 trillion in order and have it in, let's just say, a bank account accumulating interest just to keep up with the increase of people on the doles. 4.4 trillion. You know how they say that the debt the debt is like $1.2 trillion this year? In actuality, it's more like $5.2 trillion when you count all the unfunded liabilities. So all this stuff is a gigantic farce. And you know what's different? The states have to account for that. The federal government does not. There's two different lines of accounting. When states calculate their budget deficits, they have to take into account all of the state employees that are going to be on retirement or drawing some sort of pension. Whereas the United States, the federal government, they don't have to put that in their debt calculation. It's a real shiesty game, man.
And you know, I'm glad you brought up the states because you know what else I noticed? I noticed that what's going on is a lot of the federal government is almost like, in some cases, well, for lack of a better term, forcing certain states through, you know, if you don't do this, you don't spend this money in this, we won't give you grants or anything in the future or this or that. And they're pushing certain states literally, and some states are doing it on their own, they're bankrupting themselves. But in both cases, whether the states are doing it on their own or it's with, you know, through government intervention, like, oh, you know, this program or that program, you have to do this or you have to do that and spend it. You know what I mean? Sometimes the feds will say, well, if you want us to give you money next year, you need to spend money on this year. And a lot of these out of control cities, even right down to cities, not just counties, but states, cities, and counties, the state level first, you could see the feds slowly creeping in. And I can see within 2 years, right? And I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying within 2 years, if no one addresses this, the feds could come in and say, oh, look, your city is defunct. You know, you're corrupt, or your county is defunct or broke. Your state, first it'll start at the state level. Oh, the states are really in bad, shaky financial situation.
Well, they are.
And then I know, but then it'll go down to the counties and the cities, and that's when the feds are going to come in and they're going to want to nationalize everything.
Right,
All
but
all 57 states.
They'll want to, all 57 states, but they'll want to nationalize everything, Joe. They'll want to nationalize your cops.
They'll do that. They do that, or they really ramp up the police state, which is like the case.
They'll nationalize your cops.
Well, in Middleborough, Massachusetts, they voted 183 to 50 to impose a $20 fine for swearing in public. So you get caught swearing in public in Middleborough, Massachusetts, you get a $20 fine. Now, in Virginia Beach, Virginia...
Could someone please turn up the speakers in Massachusetts really quick for me?
Yeah.
Shit! You can send the $20 fine to federaljack.com, P.O. Box.
Well, in Virginia Beach, Virginia... They do it, but they issue a citation only, like a warning. You can't swear. So they do that. And then, but they can't. How do you ban speech? Well, let's see.
They just did. They just violate, that technically they just violated the First Amendment.
Well, can't they put like free speech zones up then?
I guess. But see, just because the city elders said that, or whatever the hell you want to call them, the town council, city council, whatever, just because they voted on it, it's still unconstitutional. Therefore, it's defunct, null, and void. Time for it to go. Somebody needs to step up and challenge that constitutionally. All right. We're getting cut off by Stone Temple pilots. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll bring it back in a few minutes. More ranting with Joe and Ken, I promise. Come on, Ken, give me a war cry.
No.
All right, so why are all the noises being made over the bump tunes? You guys pissed off or something that, like, you don't have cool tunes like Popeye? I mean, hell, that was Fool for Your Stockings by ZZ Top, man. That's like a great tune. You know, they're old
I'm
Texas
so glad
blues roots.
Popeye's got the support. That's all, you know.
You see
Must be nice,
how that's jealousy in action there, Popeye. That's all I can say, man. It's jealousy, man. They're jealous.
You
They're
should have heard
jealous.
them. Did you hear them during the break? How come I don't get like bumpers played for me specially by Jimmy? And I was like, well, you're not me. I don't know.
Well,
what to tell you,
no.
man.
There's a real reason for that. I just never listened to their shows. So.
Oh damn!
Hoyo! Heyo! All right. Somebody's trying to call, but we did this wrong, so we can't answer the call.
Yeah, sorry guys, we can't take calls right now. Jimmy,
Yeah.
as a New Yorker, I want your opinion of Mike Bloomberg.
You know what? Well, luckily, I don't live in New York City.
But what do you think of him as someone that lives near the city?
I think it's, well, I don't live near it. I'm on the other side of the state. I mean, I'm like 470 miles away from New York, believe me, from New York City. The fact that they elected this guy, put him back in office twice is unbelievable. I mean, all he's done since he's been in office is say, I don't believe in smoking, so you can't either. And everybody goes, yay. And he says, you know what, I don't like sugary drinks, so you can't have big sugary drinks. Yay! Like, what the hell's the matter with you? The guy, I mean, he's literally imposing his moral values on the city, and they just roll over and, put their rear ends up in the air and go, okay, Michael, give it to us again.
I love New York bumper stickers.
I don't either.
They
Ken.
kind of act like targets, man.
But it's serious. I mean, he's just, you know what? A lot of restaurants in New York are serving food that has a lot of fat in it. So you're going to, exactly. So you're going to have to put out on your restaurant everything that you serve has to have caloric content, fat content, all this kind of crap. And everybody goes, okay, Mr. Bloomberg, whatever you say. The other thing he's trying to do, and he pointed this out, I'm sure before he leaves, because he can't be reelected again, by the way. His term's up. His term limits are expired.
What do you want to bet he tries to extend it another?
Oh, I'm sure.
Extended it once.
I'm sure they'll do something. But what he's already talked about, too, is he said, there's too many bars in Manhattan. We're going to have to revoke some liquor licenses. Can you imagine? I'm going to tell you something how it works in New York, folks. If you want to own a bar in New York, first of all, you have to have a clean record. You can't have any problems. You can't have any you can't have a criminal record, first of all, which, whatever. I suppose that makes sense. But it is a privilege. They consider it a privilege. You pay dearly for it. Here in Erie County, where I live, if you're in Buffalo, it's $1,200 a year plus sales tax. And you got to pay for it 3 years in advance, okay, to have a liquor license. And all it takes is a couple of idiots out in front of your place to start a fight on your sidewalk. The cops get called. The cops, by law, have to report it to the state liquor authority. You got a blemish on your record. They show up. They go, oh, you know what happened? There was a fight at your place. Well, we gotta note this. We gotta note this, Alice.
But,
whatever.
I mean, how asinine is that? There was a fight at your bar.
Yep.
It's a bar.
Listen, I know somebody who owned property in the city of Buffalo. This is how ridiculous. Well, you can't say retarded, sorry. How ridiculous it is. Okay? Guy owns property. He was leasing it to a couple of guys that were running a tavern. And they had some problems there, and there was somebody knifed out in front of the property, whatever. Anyway, he threw the guys out. They canceled the liquor license, whole 9 yards. He spent, I don't know, I think it was $20,000, if I remember correctly, to redo the whole place, fix the whole bottom floor of this place up. And then he tried to reopen it as a bar that he was going to run, and they wouldn't give him a license. And the liquor authority's reasoning was, there have been problems at this address before. So it doesn't even matter, guys. This is how New York State operates. It doesn't even matter that you threw the bum out, right? You threw that idiot that was there out. You're running it yourself. Doesn't matter. They go by the address. So they would not give him a liquor license. Period. Wouldn't give it to him.
Wow.
So, and what Bloomberg wants to do, and he's talking about this, and I can imagine it's only a matter of time because people in New York City will roll over and play dead, is he thinks there's too many bars, and he wants to cut that number down. So he's going to he wants the liquor authority in the city of New York to not reissue certain licenses to people. I guess what are they going to do? Randomly pick. Can you imagine if you're a business and the city just tells you, you know what? Your number came up. We're not renewing your business. You are no longer in business.
Man, you're going to have some disgruntled people. That's all I could say.
But Joe, it doesn't seem.
Balls, dude.
Well, it sure does, and it doesn't.
Brass set.
It sure does, and I'm telling you, it doesn't even seem to matter because everything this guy has done. You know, I don't like smoking. You can't smoke anywhere, even outside. And what do? People go, "Yay, Mayor Bloomberg! You're a champion for non-smokers." Yeah, but I'm standing on a street corner. I'm telling you, folks. Pretty soon. Listen, they tried this in California and it didn't. Exactly. They tried it in California and it didn't work. But who's to say that it won't work here in the libtard bastion of New York City, where they'll ban you from smoking in your house, in your car. They tried it. They tried the banning the smoking in your car in California, guys. You know that, right?
I remember that.
And it didn't pass.
To push people not being allowed to smoke in their own vehicle.
In their
Can you
own
imagine that
vehicle.
you're driving down the street and you get SWAT team Jimmy, put out the effing cigarette or you're going to get your head blown off, mother effer. You're like, oh my God, dude.
You got someone in the car that's under 18, you're smoking, pull over.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you'll get.
Exactly. It is so ridiculous, and yet this is part. This is part of my problem, guys. You know, all the while I was doing my show, I kept coming on saying, "I don't believe there's enough people in this country who have enough common sense to do anything right or to do the right thing at all." And people are like, "Oh, Jimmy, you're so mean to people." There's a lot of smart people. They just have to be woken up. Okay, all right. Well, I'm just sit back and wait. Exactly.
What happened to the people of New York? They've been neutered.
Well, this has happened everywhere, Ken, but I think in the big cities, well, I don't know. Look, we could do a whole another hour on this. Here's the thing. They talk about how big cities have been destroyed by a Democratic rule. And I keep saying, well, you're wrong because Bloomberg's a Republican. Okay, so that has nothing to do with it. But I think that the people in the big city, they just go about their business. They're probably worried about getting home from work. I mean, I went there to visit. My daughter and I went there. She took me for my birthday to see the Yankees play, and I love baseball. Okay, so she took me to see the Yankees play. So we spent a week in New York, and she's never been there before. And it's just sad to watch people. You get on the train. Like, we're there for fun, I don't care if the ride's 40 minutes. But these people are doing this every day back and forth to work. You got to get up at 5 o'clock to catch a train at 6 so you can get to work by 7:30. And then you work all freaking day and you got to be there by 3:30 so you can get on a train so you can get home by 5:30 or 6 or whatever it is. It's a horrible lifestyle. I can't imagine anybody would want to do it. But I guess there's some sort of oddball prestige to living in New York City and, I guess likewise Los Angeles and Seattle, Washington. But these are all huge bastions of really left-wing people who, want government regulation. I mean, right? They don't care that the government says you should not do this, and they go, okay, well, we shouldn't do it. It makes perfect sense.
Less they have to worry about.
That's
but
right.
There used to be a time you'd walk down the street and you'd bump into somebody. Hey, what's your problem? Today it's kind of like, oh, excuse me. No, excuse me. No, excuse me.
Oh, Kenny, it's not even that. Listen, you live where
it's sickening.
Well, it is sickening, but I'll tell you what. Where you live right now, what are we up to in Chicago? 124 people shot so far since January 1st.
Oh, it's crazy.
And that was just because they were going to get rid of 32-ounce Cokes.
Can you imagine if they closed the 7-Elevens?
Can you imagine if Popeye's chicken ran
oh, my God.
Chicken?
No,
wait a minute.
not in Chicago. Not in Chicago.
You'd have total mayhem and chaos.
Dude, there's a video from Jimmy's neck of the woods where people were flipping out. My favorite was the woman who rolls up to the drive-thru in her, her Cadillac Escalade with rims on it.
Don't forget,
I'm not going to feed my children.
Yeah, but there's nobody inside.
There's nobody inside.
To an empty restaurant.
And she's like, "What you mean there's no chicken? What you mean?" And they showed the front of the place is empty. All the the chairs are on the tables.
The freaking lights were off.
The lights were off.
This is closed.
Hey,
these people, she was going off. She's like, how am I going to feed my kids? And my only thought to myself was, well, if you didn't buy the freaking Escalade, it didn't have those freaking Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses on you. Yeah. Maybe you'd be able to buy some food for your kid.
Exactly. Why don't you go home and make something?
No chicken? No chicken? Get my damn chicken!
Don't laugh. They were about, dude, there were people. Ken, I swear, I'm going to find the clip.
I think I have it too, but go ahead. We'll do it during the news break. It is hysterical. But your thing is, you got to see it, though, too, because when you see people screaming at the drive-through speaker, that's the best.
Oh, yeah, man.
Dude, I wish we had visuals sometimes. I swear to God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in for hour number 2 and find out what's going to happen when the food runs out. We're going to show you a video of a fast food restaurant running out of food, and you can see the ensuing chaos. Wait till these morons don't have any food. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with hour number 2 here on tonight's live edition of Down the Rabbit Hole on the Orion Talk Radio Network. I am your host, Popeye from FederalJack.com, and tonight I am joined by a slew of hosts here from the network, and during the break we added a caller who I will get to in 2 seconds. I will get to all of them in about 2 seconds. I just wanted to say quickly, thank you to all the listeners for being very patient and understanding, while we deal, at least on my end, while I deal, not really so much Orion, but while I deal with my technical difficulties of my computer dying on me over the past few days, you guys have been really good, and I appreciate all the help you guys gave. And I want to thank you. Yeah, you guys are awesome. And if anybody, feels that they want to help out, you don't have to help me out. You can always help out Orion. You don't have to throw a little, if you want to throw a little love Orion's way instead of my way, it's totally cool. Jimmy's always been a good guy to me. He's always given me a home here at Orion to shelter from the storm, as it were. So feel free to show Jimmy some love if you have to. Instead of me, feel free to throw him a couple bucks too.
Wow. Popeye. I know. Popeye waxing poetic this evening. I like it. I didn't know that. I didn't know you were a thespian.
Yes, he is. He's quite the thespian.
He's a lesbian. It's a lesbian.
No, a thespian, Ken. Thespian.
I know you're like 90, but thespian. Actor, Ken. Does that make it easier for you to understand?
That works for me. Thank you. Never mind.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen, during the break, as I said, we brought a caller on. And you have all heard me actually have some really intellectual conversations with him before. Usually, though, it's when I'm hosting other people's shows like Jimmy's or Bob's over on Oracle. So now I get to have him as a guest on my show. So without wasting any more time, let me welcome to the show Mike in New York. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. I'm sorry about your computer. But I wanted to bring up you said that, do they have our best interest in mind? That's a common phrase I hear a lot said throughout various forms of media. And you have to look at the word. Do they have our interests in mind, our best interest, our highest interest? They have it all. We live in a system based on interest and debt. We as a person have interests in life. When all your interests are based upon materialistic goals, when all the solutions and all the actions you do are based in just the five senses, it's going to fall apart. You're never going to find any solution, and you're going to be controlled. So I just wanted to, it just hit me when you said those words, so I just wanted to say that.
Well said, and that touches on when you and I talked about the last time I spoke to you, and we talked about love and fear and hate and all that. And well said.
Yeah, well, it's a link. It's when people don't, you fall down a trap, down the rabbit hole, as some people want to say, and you fall into this trap of this cycle where all of a sudden you're like you're the shiny new penny, and then you fall into the water and you become rusted with the rest of the other pennies. But when you, as a person, start to take in different things, you think about them, you take them in, you not only just do the internal work, but then you as a person start to grow, and you realize that just taking it all in, you're going to explode if you don't do something. That becomes either destructive or a positive creative force. You have only two ways you can go with it. Some people want to say, well, no, that's too dualistic. And it can never be like that. Well, if you base it back to any of your actions, you can base it back to a yes or no. Do you choose to experience something like this, or do you choose to not experience something? Sometimes it's a forced experience, but in the end, you can choose to do the right thing in that situation, even though it's hard, even though it's not easy, or it seems like maybe the wrong thing to do. But if you internalize it, if you give it enough time, you'll find that your gut instinct sometimes is the right decision, even though in the end it's going to be a difficult, short experience to go through.
What do you think? I want to drag you out of the esoteric, as it were, and ask you what your thoughts on Bloomberg.
Well, Bloomberg is the perfect example of a modern globalist New World Order piece of scum. Perfect example. He's a self-created, stolen, multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. He runs New York. He thinks he owns New York. He can go for multiple terms he can just change the laws. He created his own news industry. I know people that work, and I have a great story about Bloomberg. The reason why he's using this helicopter now to go back and forth, because he used to go another way through New York City all the time, and he used to always walk through metal detectors. I'm not going to name the place just because I want to keep this person's job anyway. But he always avoided the metal detectors. His bodyguards avoided the metal detectors. He never had to walk through. When this person came on shift, got promoted, guess what? First time Bloomberg had to walk through there, he, by force, said, well, you have to now take off your belt, because he, of course, tried to walk through it, and he had to do that. He was fuming. He wanted to know who the person was. And the commissioner had to come down, because the commissioner was local to the area. And the commissioner, of course, it comes down to a decision. Well, are you going to let just this person through, or is it your job to actually make this person walk through the security? Because that's actually the person's job. So, make a long story short, all the bodyguards had to take off their guns. All Bloomberg had to do was take off his belt, had to take off his shoes, and walk through the metal detector. And that was the last time he showed up there. So now he's been taking the helicopter, and and it just comes down to a point where even the laws that they create, they're above it. The laws that we have to abide by in this slavery system. He is the perfect example of scum. I don't see any other mayor, anybody else, doing the things that he's done, especially getting away with it in New York. But New York is also a lot of it's a globalist hangout state anyway in that area.
And Mike, let me just say that. Don't forget, too, he's a huge gun control advocate, and he has appeared in other areas of the country on their behalf to put his 2 cents in, like Chicago, when the ruling came down from the Supreme Court that there was no way that Chicago could prevent people from owning firearms. He was down there with Daley telling people that he's all for you not having guns. And then remember, Daley said, if you step out of your porch, we're going to arrest you. I mean, he's been all over the place doing that. You're damn right he's a globalist.
And he's been sending the NYPD down here to Florida and to other states to monitor our gun shows.
Of course.
And he's one of these dicks that's pushing, get rid of the self-defense laws. You shouldn't have stand your ground. It's just a right to murder.
Oh, please. That was, there's a court case going on right now in Texas regarding that. And I guess the media only, I'm sure not the rest of the country necessarily, apparently waiting with bated breath for the outcome of this ruling in Texas. Because apparently we need the court to rule on whether or not you have a right to defend yourself. It's completely, profoundly idiotic.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
Yeah, exactly. Darth Vader and the evil Emperor. And Mike Bloomberg.
Darth Bloomberg.
No, I think Bloomberg is more like the Emperor because he's old and shriveled. What do you say, Mike?
Yeah, he is kind of shrivelly, isn't he, Mike?
Bloomberg is without a doubt becoming the actual epitome of what he is. You'll see that a lot with these.
You mean
older
a
globalists.
You mean a caricature of himself?
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
They usually
He's
become
becoming a
that
character. He's becoming a character of himself. Mike, I'm going to have you hold right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a break coming up, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I'm hanging out with Joe Joseph, Jimmy X, Ken Hildebrand, and Mike in New York. And during the break, we were going off on property taxes. It's just everybody is in a ripe mood tonight. And Joe and Mike were actually having an interesting conversation about property taxes in New York. Now, Joe, you used to live up in New York, and you were saying your property taxes were disgustingly out of control when you were up there. And, Mike, you were saying pretty much the same thing, that what you're dealing with now is kind of the same thing. Because even if you rent, you paying what you pay in rent, a part of that is because they have to pay outlandish property taxes. So who ends up getting that put on them? The renter. It's disgusting. One way or another, you're paying that tax. Even if you don't, you know what I mean? Even if you don't own, you're paying a friggin' tax.
Without a doubt, it's the reason why things are just taxed. I mean, look, it's the same thing with cigarettes. You know, out here, you can if you're lucky now, you can find them for like $8.50.
That's ridiculous. $8.50 for a pack of smokes.
Well, here in Western New York, it's close to $10. I mean, he's saying he's lucky to find him for $8.50. I don't know. Maybe that's before tax. I don't know what happened. It sounded like we dropped him.
Yeah, I think he might have lost. Mike's cell phone cuts in and out.
Yeah. I think we did. We lost him. I can see on the board here we lost him. But I mean, it's close to $10 here. I'll tell you what, though. You know, New York State's
that's a tax, Jimmy.
Well, of course it is. Well, no, listen, Popeye. It's real simple. Okay, the Indians. There's some Indian reservations around here. Most of us now go up to the Indians, and if we're going to buy smokes, we'll buy comparable smokes to Marlboro Lights. They're pretty close. I mean, it's not much difference, I guess, in taste. Most people don't give a shazat about them. $20 for a carton. $20. Go to the supermarket here to buy Marlboro Lights, and you're paying $100 a carton.
Dude, I remember when it was $18 for a carton of cigarettes at the local ShopRite in Jersey when I was a kid. And now, I mean, even in Jersey, it's like $60-something.
Well, last time
$100 a carton.
I went to New Jersey. Ridiculous. I went to New Jersey last year to work. Remember, in like September, I think it was, right? We were there for a week and a half doing some work in a place in New Jersey. And there was a Rite Aid or a CVS, whatever, pharmacy across the street from where we were. I went over there to get a pack of smokes. Yeah, they were like, close to $7. You know, if they were that here, people would be still buying Marlboro Lights. But we're not. We're going to the Indian reservations and circumventing the state of New York. So screw you guys. You know, you want to put $5 a pack tax on cigarettes? Well, and then you're going, well, we're losing revenue. Well, of course you are, a-hole. Of course you are. Nobody's going to pay. Anyone who can avoid paying it will avoid the ridiculous amount of money. And again, this is done in the same manner by which Bloomberg is taking care of New York City. It's like, we're proud of ourselves that we have the highest cigarette packs in the entire country. We're proud of it. People will stop smoking. Well, no, they won't, you jackass. They will have their kids do without to buy a pack of smokes. What the hell's the matter with people, Popeye? You know what?
They tried the same thing during Prohibition.
Of course, and it didn't work then, Ken. This is the problem. People, if they're going to go buy a pack of cigarettes, if it's $4 a pack, they're going to spend it. If it's $10, they're still going to go spend the money. But you know that $6 is not going to go to their kids. What the hell's the matter with these idiots?
It'll come out of something else.
It'll come out of stuff. Of course it will.
And of course, the government will say, "Well, they shouldn't be doing that." Then they're neglectful.
Well, they shouldn't. You know, maybe we should raise them to 15. That'll really fix everybody's ass.
Yeah, then they'll stop doing it.
Yeah, that'll fix your little red wagon, you smokers.
Why don't we just make it illegal? Why don't we just make smoking
illegal? Well, they're not. Of course, they can't make it illegal because, I mean, you know, again, the revenue they get off of it. You know, they're balancing the. I'm so mad about it. They're balancing the budget in New York State on the backs of people who have bad habits. They're exploiting your bad habits. You want to drink beer? Listen, beer here. I mean, beer's still pretty cheap here by comparison. But a 12-pack of beer, for example, used to cost about, $8 2 years ago. Now it's like $13. All of that increase didn't come from the manufacturer. It came from New York. It came from New York State. Okay? It's $13 for a 12-pack. It means that each bottle's over $1 a piece. Retail. And again, we'll fix those beer drinkers. We'll just, we're losing money. Listen, the big problem in New York, and it's a big problem everywhere, and I'm sure it's the same way in Illinois, Ken.
Yep.
They can't stop spending freaking money. They can't stop spending it on ridiculous liberal social programs.
That's the problem. And even the Republicans do the same thing. They want to buy all new toys and keep bombing every country. And so does this schmuck that's in office now.
Well, listen, I'm not saying this is a Democratic thing.
Oh, no, I know what you mean. I'm just saying. I was just venting off the say. I agree that they're all scumbags.
They're all scumbags, and that's what they're doing here.
Credit card up. They like a wife that's out of control.
They cannot exactly. They're like the old stereotypical wife. They can't stop spending on your credit card while you're working all day. And she's home eating bonbons. It's the same thing. They can't stop spending money. And then they overspend every year and go, we've got a $300 million deficit. What do? I know. Let's raise beer. Let's punish the hardworking people of New York State who already are overtaxed, who are taxed to the hilt. Let's make it more painful for them to even get a little relief out of drinking 3 or 4 beers. This is how they bend you over, folks. Okay? And it's not going to stop until we throw every one of these sons of... I don't think I can say bitches on the air, can I? But these sons of bitches out of office. We got to start over, folks. We've got to get people mad enough to start over. We've got to get people riled up. And I don't see enough people being riled up now.
Let me just remind...
I want to give Bloomberg an idea. What you can do is people will continue to have children. So I think they should put a $1 per diaper disposable diaper tax. So I pack of 50 disposable diapers. There's a $50 tax on that. I'm waiting for the day that these asshats finally get to the point where they put a tax on something and the people drag them out of their offices, tar them, feather them, and run them out on a rail.
Or
when does it get to the point where people have just flat had enough?
Ken, I wish I could answer that question. I wish I could say right now, but it's not happening. I don't see it even in the immediate future.
Because people have been dumbed down, and right now people think that oh my God, they what would happen if this system wasn't around? What would we do? Oh God, because they don't. They're not. A lot of these people haven't been taught to think for themselves. They've been taught to look to others their whole lives for what to do, and never to look into themselves. And eventually, when people start doing that and they look into themselves, then the problems will start to get solved. But until then, dude,
Popeye,
we're going to be running into the same problem.
But the problem is what we talk about all the time, and what I used to say on my show all the time, and I know Ken goes on about it, I know you do, and I know Joe does, and others. The problem is that people are easily distracted. There's this mentality in this country, and I'm sure it's everywhere. I mean, in this country specifically. I think people see that there's a lot of bad things going on. There's a lot of things that people complain about all the time. If you can catch them now, if you can catch them not in a work environment, say, or they're outside, or going to their car, or you meet them at a supermarket, if they don't think they're within earshot of other people, they will complain to you. But when things are difficult, people recoil. They go back and they say, I just want to go home and I'm going to park my ass tonight, maybe swill a beer or whatever, have a big giant glass of tea, and I'm going to watch TV and I'm going to forget about all this. And that's the problem. That there, I think, is the big problem.
Yeah, everybody's got the ostrich syndrome, Jimmy. They stick their head in the sand.
Absolutely.
And they think that if they can't see it, it's not there. It's like pulling the blankets up over your head. It doesn't make the monster go away. The monster's still there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Awesome roundtable tonight. Jimmy X, Ken, and Joe Joseph. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And we were having a technical issue on my end, so we lost Mike's phone call. I think his cell phone was cutting out, but since it cut out, we were having a technical issue on my end, so I won't be taking calls for the remainder of the show. But I do thank Mike for calling in, and we will be taking calls more and more often once I get my studio over here at the Federal Jack Studios up and running, and we're getting the new call board system for the network, and we're actually rebuilding a few things within the network and making it grow much larger and stronger and faster, like Steve Austin, the $16 million man or whatever. Well, he was $6 million when I was a kid, which in today's standards would be like $8 billion, because $6 million wouldn't even get you a foot now for that guy, right?
Oh, you are talking to me there, Popeye.
Well, any one of the three of you. How much do you think you?
I wasn't
Austin,
sure.
This is actually a good question. In today's economics, how much do you think you could get if you spent $6 million, like a foot?
For Steve Austin, I don't know. Maybe a foot and a half. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Ken, rim shot.
Ken.
Wow, man.
Rim shot, Ken.
Ken is slow on the uptake.
Ken,
Yeah, you know, man.
What up, Ken? Oh, no, you know what? He went
tough getting old.
No, you know what happened? It was the alarm went off. He had to go take the Geritol. He'll be back in a minute.
Oh, wow.
There we go. Okay.
There it is.
There's Ken.
And there goes Jimmy.
Oh.
And there goes Justin Bieber.
Oh. Why'd you take me with him, Ken? Oh. All right. You want to play this cut, Popeye?
Yeah, play that clip.
Right.
Yeah, remember I promised the whole Popeye's chicken thing? And
Yeah,
we totally
and
forgot
by the
about
way,
it for the past half hour. Yeah.
just so everybody knows, I checked with the Popeyes franchise, and they said that they did, in fact, get the name from an alternative radio talk show host. So, whatever.
I'm suing them.
We should. All right. It's copyright infringement, I tell you.
Fast food chain Popeyes became a victim of its own advertising today. So many customers lined up for a big special. Some locations, including one in Penfield and the city, ran out of chicken. Tonight, customers were clucking their disapproval.
Customers at the drive-thru heard this recorded message.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but we are all out of chicken and we are closed for the rest of the day. Thank you and have a blessed day.
One woman yelled back at the machine.
People have kids that they trying to feed for the special, and you mean to tell me that we can't feed our kids? Because y'all didn't order enough chicken. Y'all knew y'all was having this special almost 2 months ago, and that's wrong.
But no one was listening. The Popeyes on Lake Avenue was closed by dinner time.
Do you believe this? Over fried chicken.
Y'all was having this special almost 2 months ago.
I can totally believe it.
This is the one that's yelling at the. Wait, this is the. This
is the woman that's running.
This is the one that Jimmy
she's
was
yelling. She's yelling at the speaker, and there's a sign that says we're closed.
Tell me that we can't feed our kids because y'all didn't order enough chicken. Y'all knew y'all was having this special almost 2 months ago, and that's wrong.
But no one was listening. The Popeyes on Lake Avenue was closed by dinner time.
Maybe she should apply for the manager's job.
Dude, that's the one that's in the Escalade.
Yeah. She's in a. I think she's in a. It's a Ford, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's an SUV. Yeah.
I'm sure hungry. No chicken.
No chicken. I love this guy. You got to see the look on his face.
No chicken.
That's right. What'd you say?
Hungry. No chicken. No chicken.
That's right.
No chicken.
I said call the customer service now to see where there's another Popeyes at. They all.
the one guy's like, I'm calling the company to find out where there's another Popeyes at.
Always run out of food, sides, whether if it's mashed potatoes and gravy, coleslaw, they always run out of something. It's very disappointing. I wanted some chicken today.
Other locations ran out of chicken too. The $4.99 special too good to pass up.
I just left Penfield Popeyes. They were out of chicken there, so I ran to the city to this one, and they're out too. This is ridiculous.
They should have had a stockpile.
So I'm driving. I'm gonna drive out of state to Pennsylvania to find a Popeyes.
That's right. Just to get my $4.99 chicken. I'll burn.
What you mean you got no $4.99 chicken?
damn ticket.
I'm gonna burn $50 in fuel, but I'm gonna get my $4.99 chicken.
And this is, by the way, this is Rochester, New York, which is 60 miles east of where I am. You know, I mean, where are you going to go? I'm driving to Virginia to buy some chickens.
Chicken for this day.
They should have the tractor trailer out back with extra chicken on ice, you know?
Did you see that? I mean, this is what people do. This report is funny. She's like, I think the company should have a tractor trailer out back with extra chicken.
No,
okay.
the one that kills me, man, is when she drives up in her SUV and she's wearing, like, these expensive sunglasses and expensive looking clothes. And she's sitting there. How are you not going to have enough chicken? How am I supposed to feed my kids?
Yeah, that was what we...
I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't depend on Popeye's chicken to
I got an
feed
idea.
your children.
Why don't you go to the...
How about there's a radio show? I want my chicken. I got to drive to Chicago and get my damn chicken.
Wow, Ken.
Ken, are you having an apoplecsis?
Yeah, I think so. You know, this is what happens. He took 2 tablespoons of Geritol instead of 1. You see what happens?
Oh my goodness, he's got the brown water flush going right now.
Yeah, he does. Oh Jesus! Now he's going to have to go get some anti-diarrhea medicine.
That's because
I want my chicken.
Wait, you know why? Because Ken got sick because he ate all the Popeye's chicken. That's why. That stuff is horrible. Who the hell depends on a fast food restaurant to feed your family? Fail as a parent. You are a loser.
One of these guys actually said he was so mad he was going to call corporate. I don't know if anybody caught that. He was going to call corporate to complain. So why don't you go somewhere? I know. And it's funny because if you look at the comments on YouTube, the first one is exactly what I said. You know, they quote the woman, how are we supposed to feed our kids? He goes, I don't know. How about going home and cook? That's what I suggested.
Oh, I want my chicken.
Well, there's this thing called the food store.
What you mean they ain't got no chicken in Chicago? I gotta go to California?
They got chicken up the street at the food store. You just gotta go buy it, put some breadcrumbs on it, put a little bit of butter in a pan, and then fry it up on either side, whatever you want to call it, pan fry, whatever it's called, and throw it on a plate and eat it. There you go.
How the hell am I going to pay for my Escalade? You want me to go out and buy a pan?
Yeah, right. You mean I have to buy a stove?
Obama going to pay for my Escalade.
Hey, hold on. I think there's a comment here for you, Ken. Hold on.
That's racist!
Okay.
You know what?
A chicken.
My chicken. Do you know who I really want to interview? And this whole thing reminds me of that chick that
that's racist kid.
No. The chick that said that Obama was going to pay her rent.
Oh, yeah.
Down here, Peggy Joseph. The best part is I think her last name is Joseph. So I wonder if she's related to Joe. Yeah,
she might be. She might be. I never seen a picture of Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Joe's picture.
Is he even still on?
Joe, are you on? Or are you?
I'm you. Yeah, absolutely, I'm on.
Did you just quit?
Yeah, no, I quit. Yes, I'm officially hanging it up. Yes,
that's what Bloomberg ought to do. He ought to ban churches and Kentucky Fried and Popeye's chicken. It ain't good for you.
Oh no, man. I mean, think about the grease. I mean, seriously, that you can't possibly eat that. No way.
Your cholesterol way up, man. It gives you heart.
Let me say this.
Should ban New York.
I don't remember in the city. I don't remember there being any Popeyes or churches or anything like that. The closest thing to that is White Castle.
Yeah, and they got those.
And that sure as hell ain't good for you.
They got those little horrible burgers.
You're despicable.
That's right.
I could put down a Crave case right now. I tell you what.
They had those in New Jersey, man. It was right next door to where we were working there, to White Castle, but we never went there.
White Castles are always the most ghetto places I've ever seen in Jersey. I don't know how they are in New York, but I'm sure.
No, we don't have any around here. We don't have any around here. Seriously.
In Jersey, the White Castles were open 24 hours a day. You could sit at the drive-thru, and they would the guys, like the crackheads, would be sitting there begging you for $1 so they could buy crack and smoking it right while you're sitting there between you and the board. You're like, hey, man, get out of the way. I'm trying to order my burgers. It's really pathetic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, final break coming up. It's been an awesome bitch fest tonight. I love just sitting around and ranting on shit. The best part is that it's done on an accordion. And
I know, of all things.
That is the best part.
You can polka to it.
You can. You can. I'm surprised Ken wasn't polking. Chicago's like the second largest Polish population in the country, by the way.
Ken doesn't polka, he goose steps.
Well, actually, Ken does goose. I've seen him do that, by the way. I think Chicago, the second largest Polish community in the country, and they were the ground zero for all of the famous polka records. In fact, the Dana record label and a bunch of other ones, all those polka stars came out of Chicago, man. Chicago polka scene came out in the 60s, I believe.
Free these people!
Like I think was Ken
totally random there.
Is Ken here or what?
Well, yeah, I'm just picking up the slack for him because you know how he is, man.
Ken's living vicariously through his soundboard.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
Ah, Kirk, my old friend. Do you know the Klingon proverb that tells us revenge is a dish that is best served cold?
Ken, where are you? Save us.
What'd I miss?
I was just mentioning... I was mentioning the huge Polish population in Chicago and how all of the famous polka records through the 60s and 70s came out of Chicago. That's what you guys are famous for. And now it's the murder rate.
That and taxes, that's about
right.
what we're...
Hey, they're good for that.
But to sell you all for scientific experiments.
They're good for that. They're good for taxes. They're good for corruption.
In fact, one of the big polka greats from Chicago just died recently. I'd heard. I was yeah. I think his name was Big Harry Janinski or something.
Big Harry Janinski.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Ken.
Yes.
But thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You son of a bitch.
Oh, you're not going to start that again, are you?
Oh, man. Are you done?
Probably not, but go ahead.
I don't know.
Son of a bitch.
Warning! Bullshitter alert! Bullshitter alert!
I'm a cop, you idiot.
Oh. Okay.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Bullshitter alert!
Okay, I'm glad you've all got it out of your system now. Are you done?
I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
Oh, man. And it's not even... It's Wednesday.
Somebody's ass.
It's not even Monday or Saturday.
I know. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Where are the white women at?
I actually needed a little fun and jocularity today and just to be able to hang out, man. I appreciate you guys coming on and just chilling with me because after the week I've had so far, it's been one of those, like, really? You know what I mean? So,
oh, yeah, no, I can't even, yeah, of course.
Well, Joe, I've been talking to you, off air over about what's going on and stuff.
Bottom line, she tried to blackmail me. I'll drop her out a higher window. Meantime, I got better fish to fry.
Oh, man, Joe, you kill me.
Stop racing! Stop racing! Stop racing! Stop racing!
I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years.
Jesus.
That, dude, tell me that wasn't, like, the best scene in that whole movie.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, little Bruce Willis. He's sitting there.
Take it easy. I've done things in my life that you wouldn't even think about. Why should you be different? You got that gun, use it. Come
on, use it, Ken.
Wait, he's got to scroll through his sound effects. Hold on.
Hold on. Oh, gosh. Oh,
hold on. This, this Damn it, this Commodore stalled again.
My VIC-20's locked up.
I know, son of a bit. Oh, we're on air.
What was the Radio Shack one?
Here's your first pizza.
That was a Tandy color computer.
Get high.
Wait. What was the first one? Was it the Tandy? What were they?
Yeah,
Tandy was a Radio Shack product. That's who sold
That's
it.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the
right.
Radio Shack ones where it was the green screen with the keyboard and the disc drive.
love it. I love it.
Or the tape deck, the tape drive. That was bad.
Seriously, guys, seriously. Okay, listen. I work on times on scoring systems, bowling scoring.
Guys, that's what I run Orion on.
And that's what I run. That's what I run it on. That's right, a Tandy. I have to keep hitting it just in this one spot to keep it running. But I go and work on bowling scoring systems for people. I'm telling you, they're all 486s. And, the front desk terminals are literally these WISE terminals, WISE, old stuff from like the early 90s. And they're people, call me and go, the front desk doesn't work. So I go and show up and I go, you know what? How old is this thing? And they're like, I don't know. When did you put this in? 95? You think it died? I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe you should upgrade to a TI 99.
Well, you can't. They made it seriously. Seriously, they made it so you couldn't update. Look at they used and Joe I know is a technical guy. They wrote everything in Unix back then, man. Just like you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, you're pretty much stuck.
You're stuck.
It's just the way it is. But of course, I mean, how often do you see them update that kind of stuff at bowling alleys? You don't. As a matter of fact,
well, the new Cubica stuff is all Windows based, man. It's all Windows 7, and you should see it. It's amazing.
Good, but I mean, look at its predecessor. I mean, you're talking about stuff from the 90s, like you say.
Yep.
They update maybe once every 20 years.
Well, what they did was, I know nobody really cares. I'm sure nobody cares. The people in the chat are leaving in droves. But here's the thing. What they did was, there was the period of time, you recall when Windows came out with 2000, right? I mean, that was really actually a very stable kernel. And
right.
But before that, they came out with one of the worst products ever known to man, and that was Millennium.
Yeah, MEU.
Right. So what happened is a lot of this stuff, when they were trying to switch over to a Windows-based system because they saw that that's where they were going, they wrote the stuff in 98. And then when they put it out on the market, by the time they actually put it on the market, Windows was showing, they were selling them computers with Millennium on it. And, of course, this stuff wouldn't work. So we used to have to go in and either roll it back to 98 or when 2000 came out, we would move it all to 2000 and then everything worked again. But it was a horrible period of time. I mean, people paid a lot of money for this crap and it didn't work. And, of course, Windows makes no apology. I mean, exactly. Explain Vista, right?
Explain how come Tandies can probably still be used some way today.
You know what? I can run an 8230 machine, old AMF 8230 machine from the late 50s, early 60s on a Commodore 64.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Seriously. I can run
You know what kills me?
I can do that.
Like a 480, we were talking about this, a 486. I have a picture. I don't have it right now to drop in the chat, but I saw this picture the other day. It was 8 gig. And it was an 8 gig SD card, one of those tiny little ones, right? And then 8 gig from like 20 years ago in the 3.5-inch discs. And dude, there had to be like 400 or 500 of those things stacked up to equal same amount that was on that tiny little disc. Well, I'm thinking to myself, I actually have one of those in one of my MP3 players.
Well, those 4.5-inch floppies only held 1.3 megs. Remember,
dude? It just kills me because think about it. Can you imagine? My MP3 player has more memory and more, capacity to do things and actually runs more efficiently. This tiny little, MP3 player made by SanDisk than computers did 20 years ago.
Well, look at our cell phones are capable of that. Come on.
I know. That's why when I use that as an example when I say when people question, oh yeah, you think they can control the weather? Oh really? Did you bother to take a look at the other technology?
On now. Of course not. Nah.
No.
Tesla
nope, the government does nothing wrong, and you know what? Listen, guys, the government does nothing wrong. And what we need...
That's right, trust the government.
Trust the government. What we need
We need more government regulation. Don't confuse that with the industry's own self-regulating bodies that would do a better job. The government
That's
needs
right.
to do
I totally agree with you.
Exactly.
I need a box full of blow to get through this dreck.
You know, he needs to get a new cut of the clown there from The Simpsons. Seriously.
He's not allowed. Apparently, Bloomberg outlawed soundboards, and Ken's soundboard was grandfathered in. And I know
they deemed
Ken
it was
doesn't
unhealthy.
live-
Yeah,
Ken
but Ken's
doesn't
in
live New
Chicago.
York.
What does that have to do
I know,
with...
but because Bloomberg said if the airwaves come out in New York, he can ban it. So he banned Ken's soundboard through the airwaves and through the internet.
There's something out over the airwaves.
all the plants in Ken's room just keeled over. Did you see that?
Everything melted.
Everything
there you
melted.
go.
All right,
I hear
well, we're
the
done.
bumper music
Holy
coming up.
crap, 2 hours is done and gone.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to, I guess you could say, like a Wednesday edition of Ranting WTF. It was fun, actually. We have to do this again soon. I like
Yes,
sitting
we'll
down-
have to do this again sometime.
Yes,
I
we
like
will.
Sitting around drinking virtual beers with you morons and ranting about things.
Maybe next time, folks. Next time, Alex Jones will come on, and he'll talk about the New World Order and how we're all slaves. We're slaves.
That's right. Fear
all of
porn,
us.
everybody.
Fear mongering. That's it. Now give me some money. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy X, back.
Good night, boys.
Live on Friday. Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging.
Night.